Good evening and welcome to the Night Sweats podcast. I'm your host, Hayden. Here we are again, folks, but in different places. As you may or may not know, I am not where I usually record. Let me apologize in advance for the sound of the fan. Woke me up at 5:30 this morning. So yesterday I spent some time in the world's largest graveyard, the ocean. And prior to that, I was traveling. I'm sorry this is coming in late, but we've got a great show. And before we get into it, let's do a little housekeeping. That does not necessarily mean I'm going to remove sand from all my cracks and crevices, but that is pretty much a necessity at this point. So, sorry if this is a little bit shaky. I'm on my laptop on a bed. It is not stable, nor am I at this point. um, so we have a YouTube channel, the Night Sweats Podcast YouTube channel, and that is going to be designed. Has been designed to share things podcast related. I will still maintain my regular YouTube channel, although I don't really maintain it very much. We're going to move forward with this, and that way, when I do the show, you can see me and or listen to me. Bear in mind, I do have a face for radio and a voice for print, so sorry about that. Sorry. I'm mic'd up. I've got my little Pazuzu shirt here, and I've got a little mic, so this is different. Kind of exciting. We'll see how this goes. Still listeners in 16 countries on 5 continents. Thank you for your continued listenership. I do appreciate your support. I love sitting down every week and lighting the campfire and telling stories. So also, you can still email the show, the Night Sweats Podcast at gmail.com. You can send me a voice message from whatever platform you're listening to. The other recent thing is the phone number. You can call in, leave a voicemail with your story. You can leave your name. Don't give me your full name. You can leave me your location. If you do that, you can say, hey, this is Ted from Minnesota. You can say, hey, this is Linda from Milwaukee. Doesn't matter. I want everybody's safety to be paramount. So when doing a podcast like this and when being involved in the paranormal, you have people that are genuinely interested in the paranormal, but then you do have some people that might not be 100% okay. So I want everybody to be safe. The number is 860-GO-GHOST. That's 860-GOGHOST. That's a little nod to a lot of things. I love the band Ghost. I love ghosts, and I also am drinking a Ghost currently. Blue raspberry. Anywho, let's talk about a couple of things that have been going on. I don't know if you have seen on social media recently, a couple in Colorado supposedly captured some footage of Bigfoot. Has anybody seen this? If you have, send me a message. We'll talk about it. The thing about it is I watched this and you can Google. You can just Google couple in Colorado Bigfoot footage or whatever, and you should be able to see it. To me, it looks like a guy in a ghillie suit. And if you don't know what a ghillie suit is, you can Google that too. It's essentially here. I'll just spare you. It's a camouflage suit that you use for. When I was in sniper school, I used one. So, good times. Not really. It from a distance, yeah, it looked like fur or whatever, but I don't know. Sam and Dean Winchester say that any hunter worth his salt knows that Bigfoot's a myth. Um, not a lot of alien or UFO stuff in the news. There is, of course, a war going on in the world right now. I don't really want to talk about that because this is an escape. This is, excuse me, this is a way for you to listen or watch. Watch, that's pretty cool. And kind of zone out a little bit from the stresses of the world and think about the stresses of the unseen world. Sorry. Also, not sorry. I'm going to have a couple of guests on here a little bit later, and they're going to talk about something very near and dear to my heart and hopefully yours. So I'm going to jump off here for a little bit. I'm going to go take care of some things. I need some food. I don't know what that will entail, but fingers crossed. Oh, by the way, today, for my watch guys out there, Breitling Super Avenger, a 133.71 Volcano Black bracelet. I did not wear the Ocean Racer strap this time, but sorry, not sorry. I'm going to jump off and get some food and get my head right, and we will continue this. I have um, not just my laptop camera, I have another camera with me. We're going to see how this goes. I'm going to have guests live, not live, recorded, but guests here with me. Yeah, I'll see you guys real soon. All right, everybody, I'm back. I took a couple of days without doing any of this stuff, but I did put the Night Sweats podcast outro video on the YouTube channel, so check that out. Again, if you like the Night Sweats podcast theme song, you can get it on Zedge. It's free. You just got to go to Zedge and run a search for Creepy Podcast or Spooky Podcast. Be the first thing that pulls up. You can just download it. Annoy your friends with your phone. That's what I do. Cool. So, a lot of new listeners, a lot of new people following. We have the Facebook group again now. So, find us, follow us. So, as promised, I do have some guests live. We're not in a studio, but we are in a studio. We'll call it the studio.
A better studio.
Yeah, sure. So this is Matt and Autumn. They are my cousins. They were at my house back in October of 2020 for my wedding, my Halloween wedding. And they were nice enough to fly out and spend some time with us. And here's the thing. My house is 97 years old. I've talked on the show about weird stuff happening. I've talked about different things on different episodes. I don't have a lot of stories about the basement, but they do. So, and I'm about to hear this stuff pretty much for the first time too. So, do you guys want to talk about what happened while you were there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were there for about 3 nights. First night, nothing too creepy happened. It was very cold. Wasn't really an AC cold though. It wasn't like it was chilly, but it wasn't. It was off. Something was off. Couldn't quite nail what it was, but didn't think anything of it. Slept through the night. Woke up the next morning, and there was no windows down there. The only window, there were 2 windows that were, so in the basement, 2 windows like at the top of the wall were at the ground level.
Yeah, the garden level ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were 2 small shutter windows. They were closed. Closed when we went down. They didn't notice any sunlight coming in the morning. And then day goes on after we wake up. We go down there to get some clothes or just
I think
something.
it was me by myself though. I think I ran downstairs because the basement already freaked me out to begin with. So every time I'd go down there, I'd run really quick and run back up, even though that first night wasn't like anything scary.
I still do that, by the way.
It's
Run up and
still-
down the stairs. Yeah.
I shot down there, and I think I'm the one who ran back upstairs to be like, come on, because I didn't know if I was going crazy.
I thought she was great. I was like, it's just a little window or whatever. And then, but that's just first initial thought. The lady was like, oh yeah, this creepy thing's happening. I'm like, oh whatever, not a big deal. Day goes, so we close them back up.
But you have to like get on something to close them.
Yeah,
It's
they're
not like
high.
we could just
They're high
reach
up.
them. They're
They're
very
high, yeah.
high. That was the part that was weird. Was that how high they were? It's not like you could have done it to mess with me. Like you actually had to get on something to close them.
Super high windows. The wallpaper too. Wallpaper kind of threw me off.
Yeah. Yeah. That I still haven't fixed the wallpaper. That's just god awful. So maybe I'll put a picture of it on the website.
I think it'd be good. But it's like I'd say it's 97-year-old wallpaper on just one of the walls. I feel like was it the wall that
Right at the
stairs
bottom
come
of the
down
stair.
on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's god awful.
So so we shut up those windows, and then the second night rolls around, and we laid down in the bed, had the fan running and everything, and then something just felt. It wasn't just cold. That wasn't easy.
Yeah, but there was little noises because I kept.
Yeah, she kept smacking me when we were laying down, and it wasn't like 5 minutes after you lay down. It was probably a good. Like, you should be asleep by this point. You're hearing these things keep.
Oh, sure.
So it's not like oh yeah, just a random noise here and there. You get back. It was like something consistent. I don't know what it was. No idea. So it got to the point where she wanted me to get up, and we're sleeping with all the lights on, pitch black down there.
Yeah.
Windows.
It is crazy dark.
Yeah.
Pitch black. Hey, get up. And at this point, I'm like, I don't want to get up. I'm like, you get up. You get up and go do it. Like, I want to get up. So I end up getting up. Get up, walk around to the bottom of the stairs, turn on the stair lights, go check in the other side of the stairs. So I think it was the laundry room over there.
Yeah.
On
Yeah,
the
laundry
other side of
room.
the stairs. Everything seemed fine. Thought it might have been a dryer running or a loose quarter or something. But the interesting part about the basement was when you go to the right, you have the bedroom, but there's also like an opening, like when you go farther into the room on the left side.
Yes.
And we never went to look over and see what was over in that opening. I didn't go that night because I was already a little trippy. It was pitch black down there.
Yeah.
So didn't really see anything. Got a little sketched out. Left the light on for the stairs. Then we fell back asleep. Next morning we wake up and we're like, I wonder what's over there, because like you can somewhat see.
Yeah.
It's still pretty dark, but you can somewhat see. So we turned on the lights, went over there, and it's a creepy room over there. It's like it's like another living room.
Yeah.
But there was like a few boxes in there, super dark. I don't remember there being any. There might have been lights in there. We didn't see any lights in there.
Didn't stay long enough.
Yeah, I put automated lights in there, and it's right now it's actually kind of a nice little room.
Yeah.
The thing about that room though is, you talked about the entryway. If you're going into the entryway, that far wall, that there's wood paneling there. That's actual like wood.
Yeah.
There's a door there that opens up into a crawl space that used to be like the coal chute.
Yeah.
For back when they used to.
I didn't know.
I don't know.
I didn't know that when I got there.
Yeah. It's that's probably one of the creepiest features about the whole house is that little crawl space.
Yeah.
I will not go in there.
Yeah.
I mean, Well, there's a lot of reasons I won't go in there. One of them is wildlife. I don't know what the hell's living in there,
Yeah,
but
sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
so that room in itself, though, was I think, given the case scenario, middle of the night, you're already feeling a little spooked out. Then
it's
you
almost
finally-
Halloween.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
But I really do like scary stuff, but that, I don't know, something about the basement just really didn't sit right with me.
I don't know how we
I
didn't
felt like there was
recognize
somebody, like when we were sleeping in bed, one of the nights I woke up, I almost felt like, I don't want to, I mean, maybe you could say like breathing, but I just felt like there was something like there with us.
it. I felt
Not
that on the
kidding,
last
like I'm
night.
not trying to be funny, like I genuinely did, so that's why I woke him up and I was like, you need to get up, and that was the night we slept with the lights on.
We slept with the
Wasn't it?
lights on the last 2 nights.
Yeah, I think it
It
was the
wasn't
two
just that
nights we
second
didn't,
night.
yeah, because I was like, there's no way,
Yeah.
I'll be sleeping up on the couch before I turn off these lights,
Yeah.
there's no, mm-mm.
But,
That. Oh wow.
somebody get
Illegal podcast. So, and before we go on, let me tell, because I don't know if this is gonna. I don't know how you're gonna feel about this, but so when I was thinking about buying the house, we went and took a tour of the house. They had an open house, right?
Yeah.
And there were tons of people there, and they dwindled down. We were pretty much the only ones left.
Yeah.
I was in the basement by myself, and somebody whispered something in my ear.
Don't know what it was.
And that's when I decided, yep, this is the house.
Oh.
We're buying this house.
Yeah,
I'm
would
not
have been the
gonna-
opposite for me,
Yeah,
but.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's good. Something's in the basement, and the third night we're about to get to is like, that was a weird night. It was. That's what she was talking about. You felt like somebody was like,
Maybe it
there.
is kind of like breathing is what I feel like, I don't know.
or maybe not somebody, but something
yeah.
was there.
Yeah.
So the third night rolls around. Nothing creepy happened in between. Midday, second day,
Sure.
third night. But we laid down. We didn't turn any of the lights off. We were like, we're gonna.
We were prepared,
Yep.
we knew what we were doing.
We're leaving the
'Cause-
lights on.
Ghosts and monsters can't hurt you in the day or at night with the lights on.
Yeah.
And you got to have the blanket covering you up
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're-
We
Always-
were
always gotta
directly
say
in the
that.
middle together, like, there was no, like, we had the space on, each side of us, we were directly snuggled up in the middle together.
She was in the middle. I was on the edge.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. So we had all the lights on and everything. We're like, and we were far away from you guys. Like the basement room is pretty far. Like y'all have
Oh, yeah.
what 3 stories, and it's pretty high
Yeah,
up.
pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody was on the main level, so it was like everybody upstairs.
Yeah.
Matt and Autumn, like down in the
Literally.
basement. Matt, Autumn, and something. But yeah, we left all the lights on. We were like, all right, we're gonna be good. Like it's quiet, maybe a little too quiet, but we were laying there, close our eyes, and it was just like when we closed our eyes, neither one of us said anything.
Yeah.
We were both just laying there, and I like in my mind I was just like, open up the eyes a little bit, looked around, closed them back. I was like, whatever. And then it just felt like, when you get warm,
Yeah.
like your body out of
Oh, yeah.
nowhere, like you just get
Oh, yeah.
really warm. Your feet start to like, because you're getting a little anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
'cause you don't know what's going on. At least from my perspective. And then she was the same way because I was awake for I don't know how long, but it was like it felt very uncomfortable.
Sure.
Like, and out of nowhere, just getting warm, just feeling anxiety. I didn't get out of bed because there was nothing to like go see because I felt like it was there. You know,
Oh, yeah.
whatever it was, I don't know.
That's an unnerving feeling when,
Yeah.
like even if you're out in the world someplace in a normal situation, and you just get the vibe that somebody's watching you.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people will be like, oh well, it's just your imagination, but we are hardwired as human beings from caveman times.
Yeah.
We are hardwired to sense danger and engage fight or flight.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who's to say that somebody isn't watching you, or who's to say that some unseen whatever. I could go on and on. I
Yeah.
won't.
And then to think about that too is like, when you're going to bed at night,
you're just laying there, you're super tired. It's been a long day or whatever. We traveled up to Nebraska, so we're tired, like we're flying and everything. Why would we not just fall right asleep? Why do we feel like there's something there? Why do you feel like you have to check on things, like what's going on when you're that tired?
Yeah.
Like if it's just nothing. You know? But I don't know.
That's
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, and so, I mean, I know I've talked about it on the show before, but I don't know if I've talked to you guys about the original owner of my house. Ran 2 restaurants in town. He was like he's a rich businessman, and the house back by those standards back in the 20s and 30s was like a mansion in town.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful house.
Yeah, I mean, it's got character, and I like
Yeah.
character. But so the garage still has the original incinerator for when they used to burn trash or whatever. And I don't want to speculate, but the crime boss for that city lived like 2-3 blocks away from my house, and there are tunnels, and then also in the basement and laundry room. I don't know how far you went in, but
Not far.
off to the back left corner, there is a built-in cabinet that would hold 2 bodies without much trouble.
Huh.
And then
That's when you go down the stairs to the left.
downstairs to the left, and then take your immediate right.
Right.
It's right there in the
Kind of
corner.
up there, yeah.
Yeah. I just, and I don't want to speculate that maybe he was, doing some things for extra money, because I never met the man, but I feel like I have a connection to him because, he was a cook. And every time I'm in the kitchen, I tend to make things a little bit more awesome if I'm paying attention, put some cinnamon in it. I'm like, cinnamon? Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah. But so he got sick and went out to California to visit his sister, because that's back then. If you were sick, change of climate or whatever, or they'd cut you open to get the bad blood out. Which, if you were an old timey doctor, you would just do cocaine until you got ghosts out of your blood or whatever. I don't know. But he went to visit his sister, got sick, and died, and they sent him back, and actually had his funeral in my living room. Yeah. I know where he's at now.
Oh, do you?
I visited him at the cemetery.
Ah.
Yeah.
The cemetery in your basement?
No. Close. And then also there was a couple that lived there that, God love them. Never got to meet the man that lived there. He passed away in the front room, which is kind of the computer room now. He was a coach for a local high school. His wife, sassy Italian lady. I met her a couple of years ago. She's over 100 years old now. She used to do custom lingerie, had a shop in my house. So we had a guy that was a cook and a philanthropist. We had a coach, and then we had a lady with other women traipsing around the house in lingerie, which, earmuffs. I kind of wish that those ghosts were still there. No. I'm half kidding, 2/3 kidding. So
Those are the good ones.
yeah, but maybe they were the ones watching you.
They could have been.
Could have been.
They felt close.
Uh-huh.
Who knows what was happening?
Oh, that's fun. I'm gonna close up this part of the show, and I'm going to do some editing tomorrow after I fly back. I'll put in some more elements. I got a ton of stories from you guys out there. My phone's been blowing up all day. Really appreciate you guys. Matt, Autumn, I really appreciate you guys coming on here and indulging me in my goofiness, and I really appreciate the stories.
Absolutely.
So,
thanks for having us.
It's the pleasure is absolute. I've covered up my microphone. Pleasure is absolutely all mine. Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, I'm finally back home. I'm excited to be back home. Although I did have a great time with my family in Panama City Beach. Um, Never thought I'd be a beach guy because that's not really my vibe. I am a forest and mountain type guy, but I had a great time and I look forward to coming back. Um, so before I close up, I do have a couple other stories. Thank you all, first of all, for bearing with me. This took a little bit longer than anticipated. I stayed up late last night editing this video. The video and audio, they're going to be kind of spotty. Also, before I get into these last couple stories here, um, I wanted to say that if you call and leave a voicemail at 860 GO GHOST, you have to keep it under 3 minutes. You do your introduction, you tell your story. It has to be under 3 minutes because I just discovered from some of you that at 3 minutes it hangs up. So, but still, please send me your stories. You can record them and you can email them to me at the Night Sweats Podcast at gmail.com. I would appreciate that as well. You can find the Facebook group, the Night Sweats Podcast, if you're a Facebook user. So before I go, Crystal sends in a story. Crystal from Parts Unknown. She says, I have a story to tell. Aside from a male figure always walking down my hallway at night and then disappearing, I still live in the house that I grew up in, always knew it was haunted. We used to float down the stairs. Even around a 90-degree angle, they would always carry us, my sister and I. Fast forward to about 19 years ago when my middle son was just a baby. He could barely even say mama or dada, but we would hear him on the baby monitor having conversations with someone or something. You could only hear him, though. The second I went to him, he would stop talking. So one evening I asked him, is your friend's name Babe? Babe was a man that died in the house 30 years prior. He shook his head no, so I asked him again, and once again, just a head shake. And one more time, then he said clear as day, as if it wasn't him talking, no, Mom, his name is Dave. Well, okay, then I thought, what is going on with my child? Since that night, I didn't hear him talking to Dave anymore, but to this day, Dave is still hanging out with him. I honestly think he was possessed for a bit of time. Thank you, Crystal, for letting me share that. That's a rough deal. Wow. Listener, friend of the show, and member of the Night Sweats Podcast Facebook group. She actually tried calling in, and this was part of the thing, the 3-minute thing. So Jenny writes in from Concord, California. She's an indigo child. It says, let's see here, it was 6:35 a.m. on the 31st of May in 1976. I was born with both my sun and moon in Gemini, and on this particular day I had my first paranormal experience. The voice was more of an understanding and vibration than spoken words. It was unlike any other voice I have experienced or heard before. With a snap, all I see is darkness, surrounded by what we call shadow men, standing on the branches like crows under a giant oak tree. At this point, I am still surrounded by this vibrational voice that was humming all around me. It was almost as if it was carrying me down the hallway in the hospital. I can see the doors, walls, floor, yet I have no comprehension of what they are. It is just a pure instinct to move forward. To the left of me, I could see an open doorway. There was a brightly lit room, and to the right was a man looking at something on the left side of the room. Moving towards what he is fixated on, I get closer and I can see it's a baby. She is on the table, just looking up, not crying, just awake with huge green open eyes, waving her little arms around without a care in the world. I could feel nothing, only this force moving me forward towards the baby. Then suddenly, like a vacuum, Poof, I am her. I'm now laying on this table. I can feel emotions for the first time and begin to cry. I felt anger and sadness. I was screaming as the nurse carried me to the cold metal scale. I can remember feeling upset, cold, and in this life again. I knew I had to live this again. I don't know how I had this knowledge, but I did and carried it on with me to this day. Later, as a toddler, I told my dad the same story, and he said it was all correct. Everything had happened just as I remembered. He was a little perplexed about how I knew these things, but never made me feel crazy about it either. That same oak tree is still in the courtyard of the hospital that I was not only born in, but now also work in. I can still see the shadows watching from above, standing on those branches, and to this day I continue to wonder what I am and why do I remember this. It's pretty powerful. Thank you, Jenny, for letting me share this. And since it wouldn't be a show without a story from me, most recently, in Florida, we rented a condo, and the way that the condo is set up, there is a ground level, which I stayed in. There is an upper level, and then there is a third story. The ground level is most frequently where I went in and out, and it's a pretty. The door is pretty solid. It kept opening by itself. It did it like 3 or 4 times, and very. Well, I mean, I can't say that it's something paranormal, but a lot of the people in the house were wondering if I brought something with me. It was fantastic being where I was, going out every day, just a short walk to the beach. When I say short walk, I mean out the back door and like 30-second walk. I spent a lot of time in the ocean. You guys know by now how I feel about energy and vibes. Being in the ocean, for me, I used to feel ick. I spent a lot of time in the ocean, and it was fantastic. I feel great. I did try and, wake Cthulhu up, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, and also the last day I was there, Dagon was angry. So for all of you H.P. Lovecraft fans, I didn't go out into the ocean the last day because it would have ripped me to shreds, as the elder gods do. Sorry, I'm getting literary and nerdy. That's not much of a story. I am more focused this week on sharing everybody else's, because I've gotten so much content. I'm actually doing an interview later today with a paranormal investigator from Pennsylvania. I have an interview tomorrow with the owners of the Mason House Inn in Iowa. I've got tons. I've got enough content coming up for the next 4 episodes. So I'm going to be more focused on sharing your stories as opposed to mine. However, I will say, get a hold of me. You can contact me directly at the Night Sweats Podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter. You can visit our website. You can send me a voice message from whatever platform you're listening to. And you can call and leave a voicemail under 3 minutes by dialing 860 Go Ghost. That's GOGHOST, aka 860-464-4678. Send me your stories so I can share them, just like I shared mine.